Hello, David.
Good day, sir.
How are you?
How are you doing?
I'm
I'm
okay.
very well, as good as can be. Thank you. And
Wow,
yourself?
nice to see you.
Yeah, likewise. It's a pleasure.
Good,
It's a
good.
pleasure. A long awaited meeting.
Yeah. So tell me, where about you are you in the UK?
I'm in Bradford, up
Okay,
north.
okay.
Yeah, in Bradford.
Mm. I live just outside London, north side, Watford.
Oh, great, great.
Mm.
That's quite a distance.
So, see, I see you a lot on LinkedIn, doing your thing, and
You
I
might
was
be.
very curious. Say, hey, what is this young man doing? You know, and I'm very happy to have you on board today. All right.
Yeah,
So let's go. Let's do this. See, help me introduce yourself for my audience. Tell them what you do, and tell them about you and what you do. Yeah.
okay.
All right.
About me, okay. So, thank you very much, first of all, for this opportunity to speak with you, and
Thank you.
also to reach your audience about the work that we are doing and the vision that we are promoting. Um, I'm actually a sustainable development advocate with a keen focus on inclusion. I do some work around circular economy, modern slavery, sustainable cities, but it all revolves around advancing inclusion or building inclusive societies.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I basically I'm also founder of Salt House, an inclusive development organization back in Africa. We started in 2018. I'm also founder of King, a circular economy startup here in the UK. And what else do I do? I do quite a number. I'm also
Okay.
advisory board member to the West Yorkshire Combined Authority
Okay.
on climate, energy, and environment. And also, on the side, I actually work as the business accounts manager to a global charity called Unseen, a modern slavery charity
Mm.
in Bristol. Yeah, so that's about a bit of what I do and who I
Okay.
am.
Okay. So we'll dig deeper into what you do. Okay.
Okay.
So I'll say an advocate of inclusiveness. Okay,
Yeah.
working on interesting projects. Okay, uh, very interesting ideas. Inclusiveness, like you said circular economy
Yeah.
and sustainable development. Okay,
Yeah.
just break this down for us so that we can understand it better.
Yeah. So basically, I'll start with what inclusion means. Often
Okay.
we have conversations about inclusion, and people, it's very easy for us to associate it with having a representation
Okay.
of every social group or social category or economic category in a room. That's what we think it is. But basically, what I perceive inclusion to be is giving people the freedom to be a part of what they want to be a part of, to achieve whatever they want to achieve, and also to feel that they are contributing actively to the advancement of society. That's
Mm.
basically what it means to me. It's not about ensuring everyone is in the room, but making sure that if anyone wants to get into the room, they're not denied access on the basis of their, racial backgrounds or economic backgrounds or standing or socioeconomic status in society or sexual, orientations and all of that. It's basically recognizing that everyone has got something to offer, and if they're willing to offer some form of, solution to society, they should definitely be given the opportunity. And that's what I've actually been passionate about when I started my organization, Salt House. So yes, as I said, I work around circular economy as well. But often
What
people
does that
take
mean?
yeah, yeah. So people take circular economy as like a major field, but for me, it's like a means to an end, because what the circular economy postulates, it's more it's a new way or a modern proposition to consumption. So we are basically replacing the linear model of consumption where we extract our natural resources, we produce, make products, We use them, and when we're done, whenever it's of no use to us, we just dispose of them, and that's the end of its life cycle.
Okay.
But yeah, but what we are actually doing with the circular economy is to ensure that after we are done, post-consumption, most of the waste that we generate can be absorbed into some form of production processes. So that way, it's either it's being recycled, or it's being reused, or it's being remanufactured, or refurbished. There's several things that we can do with it. And the reason why I'm really particular about the circular economy and how it relates to inclusion is in terms of inclusive economic opportunities. Because amongst all the sustainable development frameworks that we have, this is one that actually scores the three major points, which is the social, the environmental, and also the economic aspects of development.
Yeah.
Where we're able to create jobs. And while we're creating jobs, you are saving the planet because we are relying less on our natural resources. And therefore, our natural capital depletion reduces. And at the same time, we're able to engage every level of society, irrespective of socioeconomic standards or class and all of that. So that's why I'm really interested in it. I believe that it's with the research that I've done and we are still doing, we're able to prove that if we're able to, governments, policymakers are able to embed the circular economy framework in their developmental policies, to some extent, we will be able to accomplish, to a great extent, we will be able to accomplish some form of socio-economic inclusion in the long run. Yeah. And also, my work around modern slavery. Modern slavery is quite straightforward. That you would suspect.
Leave that out, because we talk about that in a different whatever. See.
Okay.
Now, I'm happy about the way you talk about inclusiveness. Okay, because I engage many people. I talk to many people on these topics. Okay. And most people, in fact, you are the first person who have defined inclusiveness regarding what the people actually want.
Yeah.
Okay. I've never had anybody say that, because when I debate people and I tell them, no, you want every member of a society to be in the room. What if I don't want to be here?
Exactly.
Okay. Now, I have a good friend, a very good friend, who is a local councillor in my town. Okay. We debate this all the time. See, we have a Watford group in my town. And because she's in politics, she's trying to encourage people to come out, to be involved in the community. Okay. Mm-hmm. But one thing we found out is that many of our people are not really willing to step out. Mm-hmm. Okay. Tomorrow, there's a member of our team who is hosting an event in a nearby town, and that person has invited all of us, okay, for weeks. And up till yesterday, very few people have indicated the interest to even attend. You see, so inclusiveness depends on people's willingness to come out. Okay. And I'm happy you said that. So if we want our people to be included in whatever is going on in society, then we need to encourage them to come out. Okay. Going back to Nigeria, see, yeah. I am a big advocate that young people should be running government. Okay. But it's very clear that one reason why we don't have enough young people challenging the older generation is that we didn't come out all the time. I mean, for these years. Okay. So if you want young people to be running government, maybe in next 10 years, then right now, we need a lot of young people to be involved in politics at every level. So I agree with you. I very much agree with your view about circular economy, about inclusiveness. Now, circular economy is very, very interesting. Yes, like you said, going that route will reduce the amount of our natural resources that we waste. Right now, we're using things only once, and then we discard them, and they end up being waste and hazardous to our environment.
Yeah.
So this circular economy paradigm will reduce that amount of waste. That's very, very, very good. But how much is how is it going?
Thus far?
Yes. How is it going?
Yeah, it's going really great. It's going really great. Like I said, I'm founder of King. I am building a circular economy startup alongside 6 amazing, talented, friends of mine. And what we decided to do, so sometime last year, I interned with the Bradford Council as a sustainability research associate.
Yeah.
And part of my job description was to help the government identify how, some of the challenges to implementing the circular economy, and then how can we embed the circular economy into an economic growth plan, practical economic growth plan, not just in paper. And that was more like an eye opener, because before then I understood the circular economy in terms of what it means in theory.
Yeah.
But basically understanding the behavioral aspect of it, how consumers respond to it, how consumers or how business owners also respond to the ideology, I had no understanding about that. So thus far, we've been able to at least debunk the myth that it's not feasible, because it's feasible. It's for businesses. It makes a business case for enterprises, because companies can actually, from our research, companies can actually save up to 31% on their procurement and manufacturing costs.
Wow, that's huge.
Yeah, that's huge, by sourcing for their raw materials directly from consumer waste, rather than relying on, some or natural, raw materials from the earth,
from scratch.
From scratch. And also the risk of, the issues as regards supply risks, like considering what's happening in Ukraine and conflicts in different parts of the world.
Yeah.
So many businesses are actually suffering from shortage in supply of some of these raw materials. But basically, what the circular economy just does is it helps combat some of those things. And also, they could also save up to 42% on their landfill tax as well.
Yeah.
Which is a huge saving. I know in the UK, businesses can totally, in the UK, we could actually save £512 billion annually by implementing the circular economic framework in business models, both large and small. But we have about 5.8 million businesses.
So to you, this circular economy is sustainable, and
it is, certainly.
It is profitable.
Yeah, it's profitable, and also it's one that helps to close the income inequality, the income inequality gap. Yeah, because people who are, for example, let's just be practical now. All right.
Yeah.
So I have a laptop over here. All right. And once, let's say, it doesn't have to be damaged to want to change it.
Yeah.
Let's say I want to get a new one, and I have to discard of this. Now, this is the Dell PC, and let's say, for example, Dell they have Dell launches a circular economy program where you can return your Dell laptops, and then you get a discount voucher to get a new one.
I have two. For me, I have two. They're both in my dresser because I don't use them anymore, but I don't want to just discard them because I have data in it, and I'm conscious of just discarding them where somebody can get them and
exactly. So with that, now for Dell, getting the products back from the consumers has been a problem.
Yeah.
Because of the cost of reverse logistics. It's really expensive.
Yes.
Getting products, and the incentive is not enough to get consumers to pick up their laptops and then drive to the closest Dell store, and then it's not enough.
Yeah.
So it requires more of a moral push, a moral incentive rather than financial incentive. So what we decided to do in that sort of model, if we add a middleman who is responsible for picking up some of these items across the UK and globally, and then shipping them down to these businesses, that way we get to leverage economies of scale, beat down the cost of shipping these items, and that way it makes sense for the businesses and also for the logistics company where they are. That's going to create some form of income for
somebody. Yeah.
For somebody.
Yeah.
So and before like for example, what we were building at King, which is the startup, we have what we call the King Rider. So basically, taxi drivers who earn about the minimum wage can register on our platform, and then during their waiting time, while they are moving from one point to another, waiting for the next ride, they can just simply request a pickup and then drive down to a consumer's apartment, someone's apartment, pick up some of these products, and then bring it down to our fulfillment center, and then they get paid for it. So over time, you find out that people who are at the lower end of the supply chain, of the economic chain, they get some extra revenue and it will give them a push, and that way they know they are also contributing to environmental sustainability, which is quite fulfilling morally.
See, I will tell you the truth. I didn't think I'll be so interested in what you do like I am right now. Okay. See, I was just curious. I was just curious to know what it is you do. See, I tell people this. See, curiosity. I talk to a lot of different people, and I read a lot of books. Okay. I was just debating with a good friend of mine on WhatsApp. He's in Kenya and I'm here in the UK. He used to live very close to me. Now he's in Kenya. And all throughout the day, we have been debating on some of these social issues. Okay. And I tell him, I read a lot of different books. Okay. For him, he was accusing me of being either left or right. I won't say which one. And I told him, no. Me, I'm open-minded. I read things from both sides. In fact, I had to show him by taking my the books I have. A lot of them I took pictures of them to show him. I read all manner of books. See, I was just curious about what you do, and now it's something very, very interesting to me. I'm happy I'm talking to you. Right.
Thank you.
Wow.
Thank you very much.
So tell me. Yes, I've gathered some kind of challenges that you might have, but hey, just tell us what kind of challenges that your business, not only your research and other things, but what kind of challenges do you have in delivering both the inclusiveness issues and the circular economy?
Well, in terms of challenges, first of all, it's the policies. So I think there's so much, should I say we still operate stale policies, and it's not just in the UK, but globally, in terms of inclusion, and because we are yet to have a good understanding of what inclusion is.
Yeah.
Basically.
Yeah. I agree very much.
Yeah. Yeah. We are yet to understand the basics of what inclusion means, and how the circular economy itself will help accomplish it. So these issues are treated, sustainable development issues are treated as independent, subjects, rather than connected issues. These are all connected issues.
Yeah.
And the sooner we understand that, the better for us. So I think one of the major challenges that we've had is if only we can have like faster. In the UK, in the EU generally, the circular economic package that was directives that was launched sometime in the early 2018? Yeah, in 2018. It was later reviewed last year. And that's like that put the UK in the map, that put the EU in the map as leaders, in circular economy. However, it's one thing to put that in paper, and it's another thing to understand the practicality of it.
Yeah.
If you're expecting companies to make a huge shift from designing products, single-use products, to using components that can be reused, there are several factors that we need to take into consideration in terms of circular finance. Who pays for the loss? As a result of them making that transition, there are certain equipment, machineries that would not be useful anymore, that will become obsolete. Who covers for the cost of that? Who covers there are certain people that definitely lose their job because the skill set that they have definitely
they need to change. They need to re-educate themselves into
themselves,
other things. So there are costs involved. Yes,
there are costs involved. So who pays for that? Also, the behavioral part of it, understanding consumer behavior, beyond just making people buy things, but also understanding in the context of making people dispose. Often we're very good with marketing to help encourage people to buy products, but we are not really good with encouraging proper disposal of some of these items post consumption. So some of the issues. First issue that we have basically is just the policy. Secondly, it's more of getting the right talent. So talent sourcing is a huge issue globally. We haven't supply shortage in terms of there are lots of vacant roles out there, and these vacant roles, they're not because everyone's got a job, but it's because the skill set that that education,
skill
the curriculum needs
to
change. Yeah, the curriculum needs to, and I'm glad that you have universities who are taking programs on circular economy as a single course. And digging deep into it and helping people understand the role of data analytics, the role of psychology and all of that, and how all of these things connect to law and all of that. So I'm really glad about that. But before we get to reap the benefit of some of these, it's definitely going to take time.
Yes.
So those are actually the two main issues. I'll not talk about finance because we're in the UK and there are loads of grants, cash lying, waiting for people with the right ideas to grab them.
That's the beauty of Europe, of the UK, that when new ideas come, the government is at the forefront of financing some of the initial education and research and all that. That's good, So tell me. I know you started Salt, okay?
Yeah.
So it's a is it a company? Yeah, in Nigeria.
Yeah, it's a company in Nigeria.
Okay, so
actually,
tell me about it.
It's a social enterprise. Yeah.
Okay.
So we started Salt House in 2018. Yep. And when we started Salt House, it goes back to my, one of the most difficult periods in my life. When I was homeless at some point for about 2 years in Lagos, Nigeria. And it was in that state I really got passionate about inclusion, because it's not because I lacked the ideas, but I was just unfortunate to be in a system where your ideas are not being prioritized, but rather your social background. If you've got some form of social capital, who do you have to pay someone to pay someone and pay someone to get to where you need to be the decision maker. And I felt if as a graduate in Nigeria, I could go through that, how much more people who have had no opportunity to be educated. And so one of the things I did in that state, so I was once a tailor. I learned how to make clothes while I was in university.
Hey, you're skilled, huh? You're skilled. Yeah.
So so that was actually that was my saving grace on the fact that I could make clothes, because while I was there on the street, I was able to get some support from church, from some family members, my mom especially, because she was far away, but she tried the best that she could to ensure that I found my footing back.
That's good.
Yeah.
Shout out, mom.
And while I was there, yeah. And while I was in that state, what I decided to do was to travel around Nigeria. So one day I just, closed store where I make my clothes and where I slept at my home. And I headed to the bus park. I had no idea where I was traveling to, but I had enough money to go for. I didn't know it was enough to take me, to wherever I was going to go and back. But I just wanted to go explore. And so I got to a place called Agege in Lagos. And I was at the park, and I saw the luxurious buses, and I asked them, where are you going? This one said it's going here. The other one was pulling me. Where are you going? He said, where's the bus going? He said it's going to Kano. The other one said it's going to Zamfara. The other one said, I was like, okay, maybe I should go up north.
Wow.
So my very first trip was to Kano.
Exploration.
And I didn't know anyone in Kano. And it was while I was there in the bus, I went on Facebook and I put up a message. I'm coming to Kano, please. If you're in Kano, can we please meet so you can help me navigate? And so someone reached out to me called Abdul Samad. He's now a very, very, very good friend of mine.
That's very good. That is very, very good.
So he reached out to me, and when he was waiting for me in Kano, and I got to Kano, and I met with him, and I asked him where are the places where people are suffering, where people are going through a lot. It was like everywhere in Kano, because then it was at that point I got to learn about the Amajiris, children, who are beggars on the street. And I went around taking pictures, interviewed a few malams. He was my interpreter to find out some of the challenges that they're going through, why the kids are on the street, to better understand the problem. I had no solution, but I just needed to have a better understanding of it. And I traveled back to Lagos. And that was the beginning of what we started doing at Salt House. We used to be called Salt of Africa, but eventually we changed to Salt House. And from there I started traveling, made it a routine every month. I started traveling around Nigeria to places that I just go there, meet people. Sometimes in the bus, I meet people in the bus and say, oh, you're going there. Do you know any place? And they say, yeah, sure. So they're the ones who take me around the villages and all of that. And I take pictures, upload it on social media. The interviews, I upload it, and I just write a summary of some of the things that were discussed and some of the challenges. And that's where my passion started burning.
Wow.
But one thing really clicked in my journey. Yeah, if you travel to some remote communities where they have access to, they have no access to the internet, they have no access to a power supply, good water. The only thing that these people have is the natural resources. And then you find out that these communities experience a very high, high rate of natural resource depletion. You find them cutting down trees, to make firewood so they can sell. You find them selling plots of land to foreigners, to mine for something, maybe gold or anything.
Yeah.
And it was then I began to understand the relationship between sustainability in itself and inclusion. That's why if you go on our website at Salt House, it's boldly written there that there is no sustainable development can never be sustainable without inclusion. It was then I understood it, and I felt, so that means for us to be able to address some of these economic issues, we also need to address some of these environmental issues and social issues. And that was jackpot. And we started Salt House. We started doing research, coming up with reports, organizing, little meetings where we just invite people on Facebook, directors of NGOs. They come around, we have conversations as regards some of the things, some of the findings. And that was how we started. And before I knew it, we're already in about 13 African countries that I've never visited. And, I started getting messages from people on Facebook saying, they would love to replicate what we are doing in their countries, to carry out research and all of that. At some point, I couldn't fund it at some point because it was just so much. And little did they know, not until 2020, they did not know I was homeless at that point.
Ooh.
It was in 2020 last year that I put up a post about it, and so many of them reached out to me and said they never had the slightest idea, that they thought I was coming from one big.
Hold on, let me address them.
Yeah,
you were practically homeless, okay, But yet, it didn't stop you from taking up this challenge that you saw in your environment, right?
Yeah.
It didn't stop you.
No, we didn't.
And here you are today talking to me about it, and you're smiling.
Well, it wasn't funny then.
No, don't say, David.
You know,
it wasn't funny. Okay.
Yeah.
It wasn't funny, but today you are talking about it, smiling. See,
yeah.
One thing I would tell you, you didn't sit down and cry, why me? Okay, maybe you felt it once or twice, but it didn't stop you.
Yeah.
You took responsibility.
Yeah.
See, and I'm stopping you because I want to talk about this. Okay. Young people need to understand that life is hard. Okay, life is hard. See, there's nothing in this world that we enjoy today that were done by people who were extremely comfortable. Even the richest man in the world, he's doing things, but I will tell you, he's so stressed while he's walking through the challenges for him and his team, or her and her team, to come up with a solution that we enjoy today.
Yeah.
Okay. But at the end of the day, he or she is smiling.
Yeah.
Okay. See, I'm a big advocate for the development of Africa. Okay. But I will tell you this. I'm not impressed about people complaining. Okay. And I see that a lot of complaints. A lot.
Yeah.
And I believe that complaining is one of the main things stopping us from actually sitting down and say, okay, yeah, this happens. Okay. Yeah, I mean where I am today. Yeah, my country is where it is today. But what are the issues? And who can help me to address these issues?
Yeah.
Instead of just this, the politician did that, this one did that. They don't help anyone.
Yeah. Certainly.
Wow. David, I'm very, very proud of you.
Oh, wow.
I'm very proud of you. I am very, very proud of you.
Thank you, sir.
I'm glad. I'm glad my curiosity pushed me to reach out to you.
Thank you so much, sir. Yeah. Thank you. Thank you so much.
Yeah. So, salt. Now, it's the work has expanded to several countries. What countries have you expanded into?
Well, at some point, we were in Uganda, we're in Sao Tome and Principe, we're in Mozambique, we were in Benin Republic, Ghana. But like I said, I couldn't afford it.
Yes,
because they were glad to do it. But at some point, there was no way I wouldn't bring in some form of financial support. And at that point, we had to reorganize the meeting. So even if you go on Facebook, I'm sure you still see lots of Soul Talks. If you just Google check Soul Talks on Facebook, you see lots of pages. People that have really supported our work in the past.
Yes.
but because of financial reasons, we just had to downsize, and we're just in Nigeria, in Benin Republic, and we're in Sierra Leone. And these are just young people that wanted to go around to do research to find out, so we developed a framework called the RRDA framework. And the RRDA framework is for our research. It stands for research, reports, discuss, and advocate.
Okay.
So we carry out the research. We have certain questions that we find out, certain things that we look out for during our research. Then we come up with the reports. And then when we come up with the report, we organize town hall meetings where we invite small cells, not really large conferences, just small cells, people that matter. And then we discuss certain issues and we find issues that we can actually advocate for. So if we're going to drive change, what's the best way to approach it? We come up with ideas and then we start pushing for this.
Yeah.
So that has been it. In Nigeria, we are in about 13 states. And in these different states, we have like about, say, an average of about, say, 15 to 20 volunteers in these states to go around monthly for research. And that's how far we've come. We sort of also, we have a program we call Right for Change. Right for Change we launched that in 2019, where, we ask young people to write about social subjects that they are really passionate about. It could be gender equality, it could be about politics, it could be about education. And then they send these articles over to us, review the articles, and then we publish it on our website, and then they get paid for doing it. So rather than hiring someone in the organization to do all of that, like, it's best if we listen to the voice of the people. And all of the articles, they are given the credits, their names are there, their email address.
Very good. Very good.
People can always reach out to them to learn more about their research work and all of that. So just giving people a voice. Just giving people a voice, So that's basically what we do at House.
You are showing me you are a real community leader. Because,
am I?
Because all you have done in Africa, in Nigeria, is to bring people in our communities together to solve problems, small and big. Okay.
Yeah.
Now, yes, your finance is a problem. Okay. But see, I will encourage you to keep it up as long as you can. Okay. Because what you're doing is actually very useful. It is very, very useful. Okay?
Yes.
A lot of people will benefit from it.
Yes,
and I don't know if you have considered it. There may be one or two things that you guys can leverage to build businesses. Okay, for profit businesses.
So it's the financial sustainability part. So this was the puzzle then. When we started, the reason why I did not integrate any financial plan, and also since we've been running, we've never written to any organization for sponsorship. It was all self-funded from the money I made from tailoring, and then at some point I started writing business plans, making some bits and pieces money there. And so that was the money that we used to do. And this was why, because I'm very good at problem finding and problem solving. But I needed to prove to myself, people who are like me would know that it's very easy to start things and just leave them halfway and jump onto the next one.
Yeah, there are many people like that.
So I needed to prove to myself how bad I wanted it, because it would be really easy if everything was coming at a silver platter. It would be easy for me to just move on to the next project. And that would be it. So what I decided to do was to go through the hardship, go through the rocks to ensure that, it's something I really want to do. And what I've discovered over the years, doing it for over 4 years now, it's that I really want to do this. Like, when I have conversations with people as regards, what I already know what I would be doing until I leave Earth. It's not going to change.
Very good, my friend.
Very
good.
It's not going to change. it's not going to change. I
Me
already know
too. Me too. I know what I will do for the rest of my life.
my existence, and it gives you some level of comfort knowing that you have some level of sense of purpose and direction.
When you know your purpose, okay.
Yeah.
When you know your purpose, you are comfortable. Yes.
Yeah.
You know, yeah, it will be hard, but
yeah,
even as hard as it is, that's what you do. Okay.
It would never change. It would never change.
Now, it's not one thing, but it's a group of things, because you'll be doing different things around that same spot. Yeah, very good. Very good. You see, I'm happy you found your purpose. I'm very, very happy.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
Wow.
I think I'm privileged too.
Yes, you are. I will tell you that. So you work with businesses and the government to end modern slavery in the UK.
Yeah.
That's fantastic. Okay. Now, when you say modern slavery, I'm clueless about any kind of slavery still existing in the UK. So, what is modern slavery? Where can I find it, or where is it? Okay, and
around it's everywhere.
How can the human race eliminate it?
Yeah. So, as regards what modern slavery is, and often I think one of the most outstanding facts about modern slavery is the fact that so many of us are victims. We just don't know it. So many of us as victims, we just don't know it. So modern slavery is a situation where it involves three factors. There is an exploiter, there is a victim, and there is a benefit. All right?
Okay.
So the exploiter takes advantage of the vulnerability of the victim.
Okay.
It could be the fact that maybe they need a job. It could be financial, factors. It could be social factors. It could be, and by social factors, for example, we have, people who are refugees or illegal immigrants.
Immigrants, okay.
Yeah, immigrants. And these people don't have an understanding about the system works.
Okay.
They are under the radar. And then somebody who has access to that information simply exploits them based on that.
Yeah.
And you it's funny you think that in the 21st century, having a conversation about modern slavery in the UK is not one that, but every day we receive loads and loads and loads of cases of modern slavery, in the UK. So modern slavery, there are different forms of modern slavery. There's one the first is what we call forced labor.
Okay.
So forced labor is a situation whereby an employer pays the employee less than the minimum wage, have them work longer hours than stipulated by the government, the UK workers legislation.
Okay.
And often make them work under harsh conditions where they're not provided with maybe personal protective equipment and all of that. So that's one form of modern slavery. Another form of modern slavery is domestic servitude, which I'm sure you heard of the Mofara case. That has been going on. Domestic servitude. The next is sexual exploitation, and also we have county lines. So county lines has to do with drug trafficking. When you get young people to traffic drugs and threaten their family if they don't execute some of the tasks. So these are some of the things that are happening in the UK. And basically the work that we do with Unseen, which is an amazing organization. So before I started working with Unseen, during my master's program, alongside my internship with the Bradford Council, I also did some internship with Hope for Justice, a modern slavery charity in Manchester. And it was then I got to, and it was just me having a better understanding, trying to have a broader understanding of what inclusion means. What does it mean to build an inclusive society? What are some of those problems that we need to eliminate in society for us to have an inclusive society? And while I was, interning with them, that's when I got to understand that, oh, wow, so we've also got modern slavery and it's got different forms. And this is how we perpetrate into a system and how it's beneficial in the political system. and why most businesses, it's beneficial to businesses basically because they get to save more money by hiring people who are vulnerable and all of that.
Yeah.
So after that, I working with Unseen basically just provided me that opportunity to practically contribute to it. Now I understand what it is. I know how it harms society. I know how businesses benefit from it. It's not a question of how can we work with these businesses to understand not just the moral part of it, but understand some of the legislative requirements like the Modern Slavery Act and how to comply to with these standards, how to help investors understand some of the issues or some of the KPIs that they need to look out for when investing in companies, ensuring that these companies are modern slavery free and all of that. So these are some of the work that we do with
Okay.
Unseen. And often, I'm sorry, yeah,
Yeah,
because
go on.
yeah, and often people ask questions like, "Oh, how come you're working in secular economy? You're also working in modern slavery and all of that." And I tell them one word, like it's inclusion. It's inclusion. I would forever do inclusion. And over the years, there are new emerging issues that would arise.
Yeah.
That would threaten, our aspiration for an inclusive society. And I would equally be interested in these issues. I would equally participate in these issues and want to lend a voice to these issues. I may not be able to solve the problem completely, but I'm quite certain that I would be able to establish a very good foundation and build good systems in place to help us checkmate some of these things.
Yeah.
So that's basically why I work with Unseen. It's just playing my part to ensure that practically we're able to achieve an inclusive society, not just in the UK, but globally.
See, you are a very interesting young man.
How am I?
Yeah. See, I just finished this book this week, and
Great
it's
experiment.
something, yeah, the great experiment, and it's something for me. I think even though it's predominantly written for diverse society in the democratic West, okay, but for us as Africans, for example, because naturally our societies are diverse, very diverse, okay, and we're struggling to imbibe the standards of democracy. So for us, I think it's very, very important that we read it, so that even though we're just starting this journey of democracy, it's better for us to know some of the issues that the author has explained in this book, and start working on it right now, rather than we get there and then we find all these problems again. We can start working on them now. So David.
Yes, sir.
See, you have done a lot of things, okay, in a short space of time. Very, very impressive things, okay. So what is your advice for young Africans, okay, who also want to contribute something to their communities?
In 2 words, take initiative.
Okay.
That's it. Take initiative. You don't have to wait for the conditions to be perfect to get to work. If you complain about a problem, you should also remember that you're in the best position to solve it, to do something about it, because everyone walks past that problem and they don't recognize it as a problem. But for the fact that you do, and there's a burning desire in your heart for that to be solved, that's a sign that that's your purpose. Basically, often I get to work with young people, and they always ask, okay, how do I find my purpose? How do I find my purpose? And I tell them 3 things. There are simply three boxes you need to check. You need to check. First of all, you need to understand what your talent is. What's that thing that you do effortlessly? You
Yep.
know, you do it. When you do it easily, but it amazes people. How do you manage to do that so easily? Whatever it is, hold on to it. It's not useless. As
Yep.
unacceptable as it is in society, just hold on to it. All right. The second thing is you need to find out what you're passionate about. So it could be about people, it could be about ideas, it could be about events, whatever it is, but there's something that just whenever you hear people discuss about that subject,
You are
it's
excited.
something you're excited. You want to
Yeah.
participate in it. Yeah. And then thirdly, you need to find out what exasperates you about that. And often it's related to your passion. It could be you could be passionate about women. And then what exasperates you could be, sexual exploitation, or could be inequality in access to education, and to especially among women. Now, if you understand some of these three things, if you were able to clearly, eloquently communicate that this is what my talent is, this is what I'm passionate about, and this is one thing that I don't like. And if I had one bullet, I would use the bullet to kill this problem. Once you do, you found your purpose, because basically what it just means is that you ought to use your talent. Your talent will get the attention of people who matter. As the Bible says, the gift of a man places him before kings. It's not a question of what you communicate to the king when you are in his presence. Your talent will get you before the king. When you get before the king, you use that as an opportunity to communicate what your passion is and how you want the king to solve that problem. That's basically your purpose. So if you have a purpose, try to get your talent, use your talent to solve those problems and issues that you're passionate about. Before you find a useful life. Take the initiative.
You just explained what I have as a 4-week coaching program.
Oh wow.
Now you can take it over. Okay, you can take it over. Nice one. Yes, like you said, you can find your purpose if you do this. Very good. Very good. You see, we are in the UK, okay, both of us, okay, and you see the world, how it is, and you see where we are as Africans, where our countries are, okay, and I'm sure you dream about, I want Nigeria to be this, that. You want Africa to be this, that.
Yeah.
So what is your vision for Africa in the next 20 to 30 years?
That's all far away.
It's not far away again. See, 30 years ago, I mean, I remember 30 years ago. Wow. Yeah. And now,
So my vision is simple. It's one I've always communicated. It's a continent where no one is left behind, where every African, irrespective of the socioeconomic background, should be given an opportunity to contribute to society. First of all, to identify what the gifts are, to build these gifts, and then to deploy them for social growth and development. I envision a woman who is a trader, who is a petty trader. She should have children who have access to the best education. It should not be dependent on the fact that she earns, the minimum wage. The kids should have access to the best education. A man who is a farmer in some remote community in Nigeria, his son or daughter should be able to travel to anywhere in the world to have best access to the best education. I just believe that, the boundaries that these boundaries are man-made. They're man-made. I just believe that what I envision, and that's why we are talking about inclusion,
Yes.
is that we get to a point where the government understands, policymakers understand that really marginalization is not the best not the best approach to sustainable development and economic advancement. It's not, but it's understanding that the best resources that we have are the people, and not the mineral resources, the oil, the diamond, the gold, and coltan, and all of that. But it's the people, because only the people can turn those raw materials into what the world has never experienced before.
Yeah.
So in 20, 30 years, I believe that inclusion should be at the center of policy development. Any policy that denies a particular group of people, it could be a community, it could be an ethnic group, it could be a race, it could be whatever. Any policy that denies people the opportunity to contribute to economic development, should be scrapped out. The way it pricks our consciousness, knowing that we can't simply murder anyone. It should also prick our consciousness that we can't sideline anyone and think that we are more privileged than they are, and therefore they should be denied the opportunity to contribute.
Wow. See, David, I agree with you. Okay. Now, taking the definition of inclusiveness that you gave me at the beginning.
Yeah.
Now, yes, we don't want to deliberately deny people of being included. Okay.
Yeah.
But again, the onus is on the people, on parents, to have the desire to be included in whatever the society, the community is doing.
Yeah, I think, but that's the main idea of sustainable development, ensuring that you can contribute to social development and get some form of economic incentive for it.
Okay.
And that's why we try to move with the three of them. When we're talking about that's, you see our approach, or personally my approach to sustainable development, as evidently, it's not just taking into consideration the fact that, oh, we need to build schools. No, it's not just about just building schools, but it's a question of how do we solve those other underlying problems. There's a reason why we don't have schools. There's a reason why parents don't want their kids to go to school. Some parents would, even if you have free education, some parents would prefer their kids going out there to sell, going to the farm, compared to going to school. Yeah, so all of these are issues that we need to address at the same time.
Yeah.
It's not just about, and we can't be quick to come up with a solution and say, oh, this is a solution to it. No. It needs to tick all these boxes, so that way we don't have to revisit it again. We don't have to revisit it again.
Wow. So, David, thank you very much for being here.
Thank you so much.
I'm so happy to talk to you,
Thank you very much. I'm privileged.
I'm amazed at the kind of things you're doing. I hope someday soon I will be able to see you physically.
That'll be really humbling, sir.
Yeah.
That'll be really humbling, sir.
Thank you very much. Yeah.
Thank you very much, sir.
Bye.
Thank you for all you do. Have a wonderful evening.
You too.